Hello, and welcome to the Geopolitics Explained podcast. Last episode, we discussed the impact that the conflict in Iran will have on global fertilizer markets. Unfortunately, there are many more second order effects that will emerge from this conflict in Iran that are leading to permanent shifts in our geopolitical world. Today, I'm going to establish a framework that will help to paint a picture of the second order effects that are emerging as a consequence of the Iran war. We're going to discuss realms of modern warfare from which these second order effects will emerge from. Next episode will then shift to focus specifically on the United States and China and whether these two geopolitical superpowers are active in these modern realms of warfare. After establishing this framework, we'll then delve deeper into these second order effects. For now, let's begin discussing these realms of modern warfare. Firstly, if we look towards history, World War I was defined by trench warfare, attrition, heavy artillery, infantry assaults, and naval power. World War II saw the development of air power, combined with more advanced tanks, infantry strategies, and bombing. Since World War II, innovation has reached exponential levels of growth in areas that are vital to modern life. As a result of these innovations, warfare is far more complex today. Our world is technologically connected through undersea internet cables, energy pipelines, and satellites, all of which can be potential targets of war. Our geography can be more weaponized than ever before, as we're seeing with the Strait of Hormuz and previously with the Houthi rebels and the Red Sea. The global financial system that was established at Bretton Woods after World War II gives the United States immense financial power, as does the US dollar. Nations that don't align with the United States can be kicked out of the SWIFT system in extreme cases, or they can have their dollar reserves confiscated. Tariffs and sanctions also add to financial warfare, and with trust declining in the United States, whispers of de-dollarization are growing ever louder. Another element of modern warfare that is quite prevalent recently is trade. Trade can be weaponized in our world today. The world was so interconnected during the years of globalisation that pursuing aggressive action against a geopolitical adversary would hurt both nations just as much. Nations realised that this interdependence was a vulnerability, and so we've since seen geopolitical actors attempt to insulate themselves by building resilience, especially in areas of geopolitical competition that will be vital to the future of our world. We've seen the United States and China pursue this decoupling. China has been slowly reducing its holdings of US treasuries, and the United States has subjected China to export controls on semiconductors. These are just a few such examples of an area where the two global superpowers are decoupling. The critical nodes in trade are advanced semiconductors, rare earths, and energy. When it comes to energy, resource warfare is also a method of modern day war. Building energy reserves in crude oil, natural gas, and uranium can give nations a buffer if another nation seeks to weaponize energy supply chains. As we discussed last episode, this can have follow through to fertilizers, agriculture, and eventually food. Finally, some areas of the world are more susceptible to water shortages. Take the Middle East, for example. Many nations rely heavily on internal desalination plants, and during the conflict in Iran, we have seen some of these facilities attacked. Iran itself was also suffering from water shortages in its reservoirs that supply Tehran, but there has been little update since the start of the war. What makes this such a big issue, especially when it comes to resource warfare as a realm of modern day war, is that these are vital necessities. And so these being used in warfare is a breach of international law, and this can affect the lives of everyday people. There are many other realms of modern warfare that have dramatically shifted since the end of World War II. Military technology has developed, especially the use of drones in warfare. Commercial drone technology has lowered the barriers of entry into warfare, And this can see nations with the most expensive military technology grow increasingly vulnerable to damage that a single drone can cause. This has also reduced the direct human involvement in conflict, and since drone production is massively scalable, it is increasing in how common it is in modern day warfare. There's also cyber warfare, where we can see hacks against vital government agencies or connected institutions, power grids, financial systems, or communication systems. This has the potential to paralyze a society from within before any other aspect of conflict has been pursued. Finally, as a part of my series on geopolitics and game theory, we discussed how information is going to turn into a geopolitical arms race. Nations that can acquire high quality information about other states and their intentions will find themselves in an advantageous position to better predict and respond to geopolitical moves. Also, any nation that can best shield its own intentions from other nations will find themselves in an advantageous position also. There are also other areas of modern day warfare that I haven't discussed, such as territorial disputes, independence claims, and proxy wars. But I hope that this highlights that the key domains of future warfare will be difficult to keep up with because there are so many realms of modern day warfare in which nations can cause pain to each other. Now, with all these potential areas of modern conflicts presented, we need to ask, why are they relevant? Well, they're massively relevant today because these evolving domains of conflict are shaping the relationship between the world's two global superpowers, the United States and China. As a part of Ray Dalio's big cycle, we see rising geopolitical powers grow to challenge ruling geopolitical powers. In our world today, this is pitting the United States against China. Geopolitical power experiences a rise, a peak, and a decline. There are many characteristics of a nation that we can look at to determine where a nation finds itself in this cycle. Some example characteristics include education, the possession of a global reserve currency, military strength, innovation, internal order, and trade power. In many of these characteristics, the United States is facing stagnation or decline. This puts them on a collision course with China, because in many of these same realms, China is naturally allowing its strengths to accrue. This is why, in recent years, the United States has been pursuing such aggressive geopolitical moves. They are attempting to reverse the stagnation and decline that they face in many of these indicators, because if they don't, the natural trajectory of China could see it take over the United States as a stronger geopolitical power. Now that this framework is set, and we've established that the United States is set to defend its position, which aspects of modern warfare discussed above can be seen when it comes to the relationship between the United States and China. It's this that we'll discuss next episode. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a review on the podcast platform of your choice. I've been Dylan, and I'll talk to you next time.